Hello, this is Goomba. Welcome to another tier listing. I haven't done one of these in, well, a while. Well, that first tier list actually had over 100. Or is it exactly 100? I think it's exactly 100. Coincidence. Alright, and as you know, by the time this releases, it will be 40 years of Super Mario Bros. But there is one enemy that has actually saved, because I'm not going to be, which one's the best Mario game? I'll do that another time, but for right now I want to do one thing that is in pretty much all these games. The Goomba. The one enemy that did help save Nintendo with their limited space. So what this tier list would be about would be how well has the Goombas been in there. Let me get rid of that. How well the Goombas been represented in that game, including variants will count. How well has the Goomba been used throughout all the games, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, we'll start off with the first one. Starting with Super Mario Bros. I mean, it's no contest why it belongs here in the S. That's where the Goomba debuts. It's gonna debut on the 13th. Hopefully they'll release it on the 13th or the day after. But basically, the Goomba has yeah, pretty much a simple enemy that has basically saved Nintendo. What was my words? So, but yeah, basically, yeah, there's a simple one-hit enemy that that's more simpler than the Koopa, because the Koopa shell keep right back to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it with that. That's why it belongs here in S. And plus, you know, if the Goomba weren't here, I would pick our Goomba. Right, up to the next one. Stupid ad. Yeah, no way. Alright, you know, then fine. There. You can look at Legos. Alright, the lost levels. Now, the Goomba is still the Goomba, so it has many other variants, so it won't receive the S. However, because there is an option for you to remove Goombas and add Buzzy Beetles, it belongs in the B category. Yeah, basically, yeah, there is an option in the lost levels where you can remove Goombas and add and replace them all with Buzzy Beetles. Therefore, the Goomba becomes obsolete. So that's why it belongs in the B category. Alright, Super Mario Bros. 2, since Nintendo wants to acknowledge this as a Mario game, and its debut the Shy Guy, Bob-omb, Pokey, Birdo, etc. There are no Goombas in this game, so in the F territory. Yeah, no Goombas. Technically the Goomba would be the Shy Guy, but since Shy Guys aren't Goombas, yeah, that doesn't count. Alright, Super Mario Bros. 3. That gave us the Paragoomba, the Goomba Shoe, the Micro Goomba, the Giant Goomba, the Brick Goomba, which we never saw again. Paragoombas never make babies, which we never saw again. Yeah, that belongs in this. Like, literally giving different variants to Goombas in just one game. Yeah, I say that's a plus. Alright, next is Super Mario Land. I mean, you have the Goombo. However, because of the limitations of the Game Boy, I will be lenient and at least give it the A category, since the Goombo was like in there and there's like limitations of the Game Boy. So I will give it some leniency and give it at least the A. Definitely doesn't get the S territory, but at least the A one. Alright, next, Super Mario World. Okay, there aren't any Goombas in here, however it did debut the Galoomba inside here, as well as giving us Parachute Goombas, Paragolumbas. So within that, I will give it... I'll give it to B. Yeah, and if I'm giving you the B, I'm giving you the C then. Yeah, so yeah, because we did get the Goomba, and you know, ever since Goombas came along, it counts as a new variant of Goombas, so yeah, it belongs in the B. However, Goombas have only been in 6 levels in the game. Donut 4, 2 levels in Forest Evolution, 1 level in Choco Melt in Choco Land, and then 2 levels in Special World, so... And even then, many of them only had like 2, 3 Goombas, so... Yeah. Alright, Super Mario 64. Now this is the first time that 3D has came out. So this is, yeah, so they had the Goomba, the Macro Goomba, and the Giant Goomba. So, and this is their first time getting the 3D, so I will give them that leniency and give them the A territory, since Goombas actually started chasing you, and are actually pretty prominent in all of it. Underwater levels don't count because, well, you're mainly underwater, but yeah, Goombas have mainly been in through all of it, so... Alright, Sunshine! There's no Goombas in the game. However, there is that slime, those Goomba-looking enemies. But they're not Goombas, so yeah, F territory. Alright. Yeah, I think there's enough said about Sunshine. There's no... Heck, even the Koopa enemies are weird. Alright, 64. DS version. The reason I separated this one from this one is because of one thing. The Goombas. The Goombas, and for the fact that the Goombas have actually captured Mario, and they're the ones that are holding him prisoner. Belongs in that territory. Yep, so, yep, there you go. And for the fact that you as Yoshi have to save Mario by defeating the Goombas, but then later on save Luigi from King Boo, and then Wario from Chief Chili. Alright, new Super Mario Bros. DS. Yes, this did bring us back to the 2D formula of Mario. However, we didn't really get any new Goombas. We did get that Goomba boss, that giant one. However, over time he does become easy to fight, even without needing the lifts to help you out. So, well, this did bring us back to this. I'll put it in the B category because, well, it's nice to see the Goombas come back to those formulas, and even the Para Goomba. They didn't really do a whole lot with the Goombas except for the boss. Because even the Goombas even took some time to defeat. Yeah, it's easy because they just run around the back, eat a Goomba, and spit at the Goombas, but it's a Goomba boss, so it's meant to be that easy. Alright, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This is immediately going to A category. Well, it did give the actually, I mean, Goombas were pretty prominent. World 4 and World 6 hurts it the most. But I don't know, it's like what they did with Goombas here. I mean, heck, World 3 in this one, there's only 1 level of Goombas. And in World 6. And World 7, yeah, see. Well, because I think, yeah, because Goombas like an early stage enemy, so. But they were prominent in later levels, though, and even in the Bowser fight, so. Yeah, so that's why this one remains here. Plus, it gave us the prickly Goomba, finally a Goomba you can't even step on. And it also gave us the giant Goomba, the Mega Goomba. Yeah, and that's it. Okay. New Super Mario Bros. 2. This did give us the Bone Goomba, finally a Castle Goomba, as well as making Goombas gold. but it didn't really do a whole lot prominently with the Goombas. But I mean, we did get. But I mean, at least Goombas were more mainly involved here. So I'll put you here. You know what? Yeah, you know, here. Yeah, you can join this. Because at least you has that, because that was that whole point during joining with this. New Summoners U Deluxe. Immediately joins here too. We got the Goombrat. We have... Okay, the Balloon Goomba, it does kind of hurt its rating, but at least it was something. I was a little bit too critical on the Balloon Goomba. But it was like, it was just only used there and it was too easy to fight. However, seeing the giant Goombas dance, but it did give us an answer to a one-hit enemy that doesn't fall off the cliff. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Alright, I know I went here forward before I went to Galaxy, but I wanted to get all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games all out of the way before I went to the other 3D games. Which brings us to the next one. Galaxy. Let's see, okay, let me bring this out here. Alright. Now Galaxy did give us, you know, well, gave us more prominently with Goombas, and giant Goombas actually became more of a threat. But it did give us something that I will put this in the S category, and that is the Octobus. The race of Space Octopus Goombas. That let me start shooting you, as well as the Octoba, the Octolets, what was the king's name? Yeah, there was that boss. So that's why Super Mario Galaxy, when it comes to Goombas, belongs here in this category. However, the next rating I will do for enemies will hurt this rating. This one will not be in this category. Alright, Galaxy 2. Alright, this did give us that did give us... Oh yeah, I forgot Galaxy has those giant Octobus, which also helps its rating, so... Alright, Galaxy 2. Alright, that did give us the Elite Octoba, the Paragoomba, in a 3D environment where one doesn't chase us. But nothing too much with the Goombas. Like, it definitely goes here in the A category because it did well with representing Goombas, as well as in that Space Jungle. What was the other? What was the Boulder one? Was it Roller Derby Galaxy? No, not Roller Derby. It's that rock one. I'm forgetting its name right off the bat. There's so much, so that's why I'm not remembering it. But there was a mission that involved where you needed a Goomba to be given to a robot, and I did like that. The other one's the top man. And that was Space Storm Galaxy. It'll probably pop up again. Alright, Super Mario 3D Land, yep, immediately going to S territory. With how much to nuke, well, the whole thing was about Tanukis and stuff, but Goombas were the ones who received the best of it, with the tailed Goomba, both non-aggressive, aggressive, giant-tailed Goombas, Goombas being able to stack on top of each other. I mean, we got normal Goombas as well, Paragoombas. But yeah, pretty much Goombas have... Yeah, pretty much is that. Alright, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I decided to add them both together since Bowser's Fury pretty much has Goombas the same way as 3D Land and World at the same time, which K5s all of them. Yes, the Galoomba, the Cat Goomba, and the Giant Galoomba are not in Bowser's Fury. But seeing the Cat Goomba, the Ice Skate Goomba, the Life Raft Goomba, bringing back the Galoombas, and bring giant Galoombas. Yes, that's why it's going inside this category. And plus, Bowser's Fury was a testimonial for open worldness, for, well, a more better open world environment for 3D Mario games. So, not adding every single enemy. But at least they added Goombas. Like, Goombas are pretty much in pretty much everywhere. Pretty much. Alright, Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, you're going in the S category too. Well, you can possess Goombas and move around as them. You can possess Paragoombas and walk around as and fly around as them. There's Micro Goombas, you can tell the difference from them. Different variety of missions you need Goombas, but it requires a certain number of stacks. Finding Golumbat and at her heights, or scaring off a toad. Yeah, Goombas are pretty much important in Odyssey. And not seeing a lot, well, actually made sense because, you're possessing a variety of stuff, so that gets its leniency. And then you got the 8-bit Goombas who just behave normally. So yeah, pretty much that. Alright, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Alright, this brought in the... Okay, this one's an interesting one. Well, the Goomba is in here, as well as bringing back the Goombrat, the Bone Goomba, and Giant Goombas, as well as Giant Goombrats from Mario Maker 2. This did hurt a bit as the Paragoombas, like Goombas that you would expect to see in Mario Makers, were not really present here, except for the Giant Goombrats. Although Goombas were definitely present in the Bowser area, so it's like Goombas did have importance, but they did remove a good amount of variants of Goombas that should have been in the game. So yeah, the Fan Goomba cannot replace the Parachute Goomba, despite how cool it is. So that's why it hurts. That's why this one remained here as enemies such as the Paragoomba, the Goomba Towers, because the bamboo enemies basically replaced them, so that hurts its rating. Playing as the Goomba part is fun, but there was only like 2 levels of it, but there's a variety of that, so... But for the fact that several Goomba variants that could have been in this game got removed, it hurts its rating a lot, so that's why it remains here in the B category. Alright, Super Mario Maker. Alright, this gave us a good amount of Goombas. Alright, being able to customize how you do with Goombas, putting them on tracks, making them bigger, giving them wings, bringing in the Galoombas with all those variants of stuff. Yeah, definitely was a good thing for Goombas for right here. If you want using and then you also got the Amiibo to play as a Goomba, well, a skin, which behave like a super mushroom. So that's that category for this Goomba. And now finally Super Mario Maker 2. No, you're going between. No, go between. Thank you. Yeah, it's easy to see why Super Mario Maker 2 is in here. Yes, it's the 3D World game style did hurt the Goomba a bit because you can't stack enemies. I don't know, that's Nintendo's thing. However, adding more variants of Goombas, bringing in the Goomba, the Goombrats, with all those different variants, making them big, stacking them. I forgot about the Goomba shoe. Yeah, bringing that Goomba back. Actually, that affects this one, but keeps this one here. So, and then allowing them to be parachuted, seeing them go through clear pipes. Yeah, definitely giving a lot to Goombas, a lot more than the first Mario Maker. Yeah, so that's why this one receives this category. And that is all of the mainline Mario games. Unless I'm missing some, I know about Super Mario Land. And of course there's the Goomboo. I keep forgetting about the Goomboo. Which actually keeps in here now. But pretty much, yeah. Surprisingly no one got the D category. No one got a B. But you can easily see why these ones got the D. No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much every single mainline Mario game that involves Goombas. Yeah, because I'm card Goombas, so why not give a listing on how well each game represented Goombas? I've actually wanted to do this tier listing for a while too. Well, that just about does it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, And I'll probably do a tier listing on Koopas and piranha plants and other enemies that are represented within each of the games. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.